as y'all can see, this is UNI in the game, and not only are they in the game, this is the best team builder of UNI Northern Iowa Panthers that is in this game. Alright, so before we go on the ins and outs of the game, I'm going to show off how this was made a little bit and all the details that was put into this because, bro, it's not working. Are you serious? Alright, here we are. Here's the field. Let's get a bit closer of a look to it. You know, we can zoom it in a little bit. This isn't something that you can do in the team builder, bro. This is pure Photoshopness. And in game, it looks even better. It's as accurate as it can possibly get. The color shades were so hard to get down. Look at this field, bro. Look at the differences. Now, the shades are a little bit darker in here. It's like the lighting in game and stuff. It's so hard to get these shades as close as it can possibly be. But this is the most accurate field in college football 26 for UNI. I can tell you that for a fact. Not only that, now, I gave them a 1.5 team prestige, just because they're presets. So, star for cupcake, it doesn't line up with how UNI truly is. And honestly, after a season, you'll probably go down to 1 star. Let me know if I should tweak this to the cupcake or whatnot. But for now, in my experience, it's the new kid on the block 1 is what I've been with. Now for uniforms, of course, we have the base. This is what they currently wear. Base purple, base white. Looks a whole lot better in game. Now what they wore from, I believe, 2016 to 2021, I know. This jersey is a lot more in depth, a lot more detail on the pants, detail on the helmet. That does not go the whole way back. Those are custom stripes. Now it is the same helmet for both jerseys, but different pants and different sleeves. Because this is exactly what they wore. It's really close. Like 98% accurate. And there's just another look as well, so it's not 2 base jerseys. I don't believe they wear a black jersey anymore. I think they should bring one back. Maybe for this season. Maybe they're cooking something. And then the thing that took the absolute longest time, the roster. Now up top it says they're 75 overall. You throw this into a dynasty, they're gonna be a 65. I thought that was pretty accurate, along with another team that I built is a 61. It's really hard to get overalls low of a team. But after 1 season, your overalls are going to drop drastically because transfers and your best players are seniors and juniors that may want to leave. I don't know if they don't get the playing time they want, but a lot of these top players are seniors. Pretty much all the top offensive lines are senior. They're graduating, they're leaving. Top defensive line, seniors leaving linebackers. Really the youngest, even the corners, the top corners on the team. The youngest group on this team, I would say, is definitely safeties. Or not safeties, my bad. Defensive backs as a whole. Like the corner room, the safety room, defensive backs as a whole. I just want to showcase this real quick. I would say the most exciting player for UNI would have to be Kaiser Williams. He's a 6'4" freak of an athlete, by the way. I was doing some research into this dude specifically, but star development trade, I gave him a high potential because he can play anywhere. He can play safety, linebacker, wide receiver, tight end if he gains some weight. 6'4", freaky athletic. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Is someone you want to look for. Throw him in, give him some snaps. Along with the corners, you have some very young corners in here. My face cam is actually covering it. Hold on. You can see Elijah Hoyt, Isaiah Pinks. Young and upcoming corners for UNI that chose UNI over schools like Iowa and Iowa State. So I put a lot of time. These UNI quarterbacks were very inexperienced. Same with wide receivers, very inexperienced based off the stats. And even last year, it seemed based off the numbers that Shekelman and Aiden Dunn played pretty equally. But Shekelman having the better numbers, way less of a turnover rate. I'll give it a shot. But now, going into the game, gonna show you how to install this, throw it in your dynasty. Alright, now to cover this, how to download it. If you haven't already, you go to Download Center. But there will just be some additional info in the description as well if you care enough to look down there. But you triangle or Y to search depending on your console, of course. Man, this is flooded. Alright, the best way to do this would just be to search the username Deslah. D-E-Z-L-A-H. Deslah. Alright, search in that for the username. You'll see a couple other teams for me as well. Now, the extra H's, that is me as well, but that was my Xbox EA account that those are linked to. So as you can see, I got other team builds like Upper Iowa, Buena Vista, Cornell, Urbandale High, Flower Bluff High, Northern Maine, which is a custom school, Corpus Christi Islanders, which is kind of custom because they don't have a football team. Oh, and Drake, I forgot about that. But UNI is the most in-depth as of now. Drake is getting worked on to be as in-depth with the team roster. I don't know if I'm going to do this with everyone else. It takes a lot of time, like a lot of time, like 8, 9, 10 hours just for the roster alone. It took a while because I wanted the face scans to be as close as they could be as well. Just care about so much little detail, and that's why it takes forever. So you would go to UNI, obviously. You can preview it if you want. Now, I will warn you, the preview, just like it showed on the screen, is going to say a 75 overall. But these are the team grades here. You know, the athletic facilities, C-, campus life, C. I don't know if I should go to Cupcake or not. It would be a 1.5 in Dynasty. Let me know. Also, for the Dome, I went with the Allegiant Stadium, not the... Oh, man, what is UTSA Stadium called? Oh, man. Oh, the, Alamo Dome? Is that what it is? Alamo Dome? Anyways, you go to download. I'm gonna overwrite mine because, you know, I already have it. That's all there is to it for downloading. And then to import, sadly, you still gotta be a Cloud Dynasty. So you'll go to start a new one. Have to be a Cloud Dynasty. You cannot, if internet goes out, servers go down, whatever the case may be, no connection, you can't play your team builder. Which kind of sucks, but they made very, very good improvements to Team Builder. Team Builder last year would not have been able to do this UNI to this extent that I've taken them to. So I said I replaced NIU. I'm going to do it again. That's what I suggest you to do. Still says 75. Still says 75. Once you load them in, get all your settings set. You know, for this case, I'm not going to touch the settings. Then we'll go to UNI, head coach. You know, if you want to be ultra realistic, you can make Todd Sepsis as well, you know, their head coach. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be NIU's head coach. And as you can see here, players from Iowa, proximity to home for Cedar Rapids, Iowa right here is A-. And wait, isn't Cedar Rapids literally where Northern Iowa is? Cedar Falls. What is Cedar Rapids? Obviously, it's not an A+ because, I mean, unless you want to replace Iowa or Iowa State, but I like to keep them in because I have built-in rivalries with this school as well. You can build up that rivalry. You know, Illinois is going to be a higher proximity to home, which is kind of realistic for Northern Iowa as well because there's a lot of Illinois players on their team, I believe. But if we go to the roster here, I'll show you off that it is a 65 overall team. And here's the roster. You got Bill Jackson from Tulsa. Owen Ostrowski, from my knowledge, has been Northern Iowa his whole collegiate career. I might be wrong on that, but very, very good edge rusher for UNI. Great tackle for Benjamin Hugh. Oh man, I don't even want to pronounce that. Ryan Crandall, another guy. I'll just scroll through this roster by position group, you know, see if you see some names. Now, the overalls on the right are going to be the true overalls. The overalls here in the list, you know, if they're bumping up green or they're bumping up red, it's just from, you know, morale from the dynasty or whatever the case may be. It's not their true overall. Matthew Sheckelman's coming in at a 69. The junior QB who had, I would say, the better season of these two QBs, Aiden Dunn and Sheckelman from last season. Again, I just tried to get as accurate as I could with the face scans, which is very hard because there's a lot of players IRL that have dreads and then they make them look like this right here, just for an example. And then the running back room, you got Bill Jackson, JC Roke, I believe, which I wasn't sure if he is like a gadget receiver for them or a running back. He's listed as a running back on their website and everything else I could find, but I believe he was the leading receiver last year that at least returned to the school. Yeah, last year he only had one rush for 4 yards, but then he had 16 receptions for 180 yards and a touchdown. So I just made him a receiving back. I mean, if you want to move him, you can. Now we have Harrison Bowie, who is a senior running back. You know, more of an actual running back. You got JC as that receiving back out that can be shifty in open field. Harrison is more of a contact seeker, as you can see by his archetype. We got Grant Gloucester, Titus Cram, Shakir Wright. Not going to say a whole lot about all the players, but Cole Marsh is a tight end that I moved to fullback just so that there can be a fullback on the roster. And this is what I'm talking about. The wide receivers, I didn't see a whole lot of numbers for them, so I don't know a whole lot about them. I know Graham transferred in from Iowa. Wasn't getting the playing time he wanted, so came over to UNI. And then you got Bunton, Kershaw, Carson Elwood, Jaden Ellis-Leahy. Just let me know also if some of these years on these players are incorrect. Figured I'd move my face cam up here just so I'm not covering names on the depth chart here, but Tay Norman, who's been around for a while, not a whole lot of numbers. Grant Larkin, Jeremiah Kane, Derek Anderson. You can just see here, Briggs Houston, freshman redshirted, Kaylor Smith, Brady McCullough, which Briggs Houston is also kind of that freaky athlete out at tight end. But he can't really play anywhere else. You know, he's 6'6", so hopefully UNI can develop him as a tight end. Here's the O-lineman. Not going to go through everyone. We'll just scroll on through here. But as I said earlier, lots of seniors on the offensive line. See all the starters, even the backup guard, senior as well. Senior at center, and then you got two very young centers waiting next up. Josh Volk at right guard, who's a junior, but this O-line is very experienced. And then Benjamin, I mentioned him earlier. Sam Thomas is looking to replace him shortly. Or possibly Sam Thomas could hop on over to the other side. There's lots of options with this offensive line here. Now the D-line, since Teambuilder had so many players, they didn't have enough players, at least that I could see, to fill out this whole edge. So we got Owen, as I mentioned earlier. We got Hyson Bowie, the brother of Harrison at running back. At least I believe they're brothers. And then on the right end, because we got Franz, Malik Stewart, Chase Waterhouse, Max. This is just a filler player. This is not a real player. Unless you want him to be. Go ahead and make him the star of your defense. Alright, we got Jackson Storts, Jack Creebs. You know the deal here. Ryan Crandall mentioned before. We're just going to speed this up. I hate to, like, you know, not show love some places and more than others, but I know this is getting dragged out. So corner, see all these guys. Got a really speedster track runner in Alonzo Morgan. Then you got the freshman boys in Elijah Hoyt and Isaiah Pinks. Once again, filler player here. Safety, Tate Sander. See here, junior. Lots of red shirts that have been used already on this team. Now, Kaiser Williams, I'm the most excited for him on this defense. And you got Michael Olawo, who has been around for a pretty long while, just waiting his turn. And we even got the kickers. You know, we got to show love to the kickers over here. Caden Palmer, since the game, you know, starts you off with two kickers. We also got this freshman kicker who was really hard to find any information about, Dawson Stein. And there was a lot of options with punter. I figured go with the youngest one. It was hard to see and tell who exactly starts on the depth chart right now, IRL, so we went with big old boy Rico, big old leg. And that's it for the roster. Let me know if there should be any tweaks to this. You know, overalls, class, height. I can't edit hometown, so all of these are going to be inaccurate. But if there's any other face scan options that you think are better, you could probably edit those yourself as well. So that's it for UNI. And if you would want to pair this, since you stayed to the end, I'll show you here. If you want to pair this with my other team builder, Drake Bulldogs, there can be a rivalry. All you got to do, make sure you put UNI as Northern Illinois whenever you're transferring these teams in, importing them. UNI to Northern Illinois and Drake to Missouri State. I know it's losing out in Missouri State, but that's also just the closest and worst team to Iowa that you can replace. And then they will have the set rivalry in Dynasty. And UNI also has a rivalry with Iowa State and Iowa. I believe I said that for Drake as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I know for a fact for UNI, which is about this video. For some reason I didn't put it in this team schedule for this year. I definitely should have. But all the history, if they've ever played IRL, it's in this. You know, it's only a matter of time before UNI joins the FBS level for real. You know what I mean? So, if y'all like this video, if it helped you in any way, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I know this is my first video in like 3 months. Just know there was a lot of time put into this team builder here. A lot of time. Now, equipment on players, once again, can't edit that. You would have to go into whatever players you want to edit and edit that yourself. It's just not an option on the website yet. I really wish they would have let us change the, the hometown. That would let us get into crazy detail with the rosters. Maybe that'll be a feature soon. Anyways, that's it for this video, bro. Once again, I'm out.